And I didn't shit my pants yet, so I think we're doing okay.
That's the intro.
Welcome back to Dumb and Broke. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Brian.
I'm back.
Look who's back. Oh my God. It's been so long.
So long.
Needs no introduction.
Has been a little.
It does feel
2
like
months ago.
Well, and personally, it feels like a long time because you were gone.
True.
But she's back. I think we should preface by saying we don't know what we're going to get out of this because it's a rainy, cold day in New York. We've all had long weekends.
We've all been through it.
We've been through it. But we're here. So thank you for listening.
And honestly, we literally asked Tegan to do the episode like maybe 3 hours ago. So thank you for being on the spot. I know it's like such a long drive for you. So
well, and even the rain, I was like, I don't know if I can make it. That's tough.
And you're probably jet lagged from your travels.
I know. So many things going on. I feel like it's been 2.5 weeks of just like nonstop, like since my birthday week, really. It's been like I've literally done something every day, basically.
Oh my God.
Right.
Drink every day.
And I'm glad you said birthday week because it really was a week. We hung out from Wednesday to Sunday and we had a drink every single day of those.
I still blame you for Wednesday because I was not going to go out. But
True.
But yes, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun. And I haven't seen you that drunk in such a long time.
I don't even know. Like, that's wild to me. Things that I don't remember, which I was terrifying. Because I don't know. I don't get blackout. Like, I don't black out.
You don't.
You can drink more than most people that I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing, though.
But I think that's just a Wisconsin thing.
I truly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I like don't know how many more of those days I have in me. Like, I don't get drunk that drunk that often. It did happen like not too long ago though. But like,
Am I next?
Probably, yeah.
I think it's much easier for you though. You generally can do like a couple drinks and you're there.
Maybe Saturday was mine.
It's when as soon as you take a single shot, you know that like
Game over.
I mean you're out specifically.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
If you take a shot, then you know it's like end game. Like
that's
done.
And you're pretty good at like, because that night I think we took a bunch of shots and Chelsea's like, no, I'm good.
Just say no. That is truly the moral of the story is say no.
But I also feel like I'm not as well, not that I'm not as well liked, but also kind of like I'm not as well liked at because you guys are like fun and they're like, oh, like bartenders are like, I'm going to give them shots and it's going to be like a fun thing. And they like, sometimes I feel like they just look at me and they're like, no. And I'm like, no.
That's not true. Oh, maybe they're
this
like,
bitch comes to the bar every time and she never even drinks. Why are you even here?
I don't think that's true. I think
so.
all the bartenders that like we're close with, like they love you. Like Kylie is always so excited to see you. Probably even more because it's like a treat.
Yeah, right.
She sees us
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone at Minnows, they love you too. So
this was the hype that I needed.
Yeah.
This is the hype that I do feel like at Minnows, Esto's usually like when I say no, he's like, for real?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
I mean, you can't blame them. They're bartenders.
Right, yeah, right.
They
That's
want
their
an
job.
excuse to drink, and they want to drink with like their friends or the people they know.
yeah.
You know?
Right,
so.
right.
Their job is literally to get people drunk.
Right.
So I'm hindering their job.
Right, yeah.
Hindering their
You're not
performance.
compliant. Yeah.
It really is a double-edged sword being friends with the bartenders because that's really the culprit of why you got that wasted and
100%.
So
100%.
Because
imagine going out to like a bar in Manhattan, like a shot, what's $10 bucks?
we probably order one shot for the whole night.
Yeah, right. Whereas if they're just coming at you from every angle.
Oh my God.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I remember you counted and then I was like, I don't remember that. And then in one of those videos, you can literally hear me in the background saying, shot!
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
You had
Why?
if
Who said no?
if my calculations are correct, you definitely had it at minimum 6 tequila shots.
There were 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
There
Well,
were 7. Which I was like, I'm so proud of you.
No, see, this is where somebody steps in and says, no.
It's your birthday.
You're
though.
31 years old.
The
31.
one day that like it's designed for you to get that way.
I think those days are over for me.
Okay.
seven tequila shots anyway. That's aggressive. That is very, very aggressive.
How do you feel being 31?
I don't feel that different, except
you're gonna give her shit for being old.
She's older than me now. Officially older than me.
Around the corner. I didn't really think about it much, but then we were talking about on my trip, the bed, and I didn't really notice it at first. And then everyone else was like, "Oh, the bed's really firm." I was like, "Oh, yeah, damn!" Like my back hurts. Like what? So it's like to the point where like you're on vacation and you are like, "I want to go home to my bed." Like not that you're not having fun, but like you like truly like miss those specific things about like my one pillow that I use and my eye mask and like everything you do.
3 years, you're not gonna want to leave that house.
When I was looking for controversial opinions for today, like one of them was, and it's not even the one that like I picked, but it was like traveling is actually very overrated because it's so exhausting. And like in a way it kind of is. Like the actual traveling part kind of sucks. Like I mean, I don't necessarily it's no, secret to you guys. I don't love being on an airplane. But like, the whole process, like packing and then being at the airport, like you're spending so many hours doing like the traveling part, and then like the trip goes by like that, and then you're like can't wait to get back to your bed. It's so exhausting.
I think going home is the worst. Like at least that you have the anticipation of like going on your trip, whatever. But like I'm also terrible. This is also my new resolution for being older is that I need to like either take an extra day off when I get home or come home at a reasonable time, because like this flight it was also time change, so I lost 2 hours coming home, and I still didn't get home till 11:30 p.m. and I was working the next day at 8. So it's just like, and I'm so tired, like I haven't recovered. So I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Tegan just got back from Honduras.
Did.
If you're watching, you'll see a nice glow. She looks bronze to the gods.
It does not happen often. I was impressed.
You got some killer thirst traps out of that.
Oh yes. Any men's in your DMs?
Maybe. Yeah, I put it out there. I've just only recently been more thirst trappy. Not like a lot, I don't think even really.
No. You don't even post a lot.
No, that's why like when it happens, I'm like, ooh, what a treat.
Such a treat. And we got a like a sneak peek before. It was so.
I feel like you always need a little not approvalness there, but just like a extra little hype. And you had responded, and then I waited for you, and then I basically posted it right after that because I just needed a little.
A picture like that, like I would not post that without the approval of at least a minimum 3 friends.
Yeah, because I texted to my other friend Steffi too. Because I feel like you can look at something and be like, yeah, I think that looks, and then there's like things you don't notice about it that you're like, oh fuck. Like even in that picture, I'm like, I'm sunburned, and I was like, does this look fucking weird? Where I'm like this white ass patch on the red. So. Yeah,
or like the thirst trap that I post where my toes are like.
Yeah, small details.
That's why you deleted your Instagram. Right?
That was it. I just cannot have that out in the world.
You can't come back from
You've been a solid like 2-3 weeks without it.
I kind of want to be off. And that's kind of crazy.
That's good, yeah.
Kind of crazy, but like it's really nice, especially when it comes to dating. It's really nice because I feel like that's always a pretty early on question where people are like, oh, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, I don't want you to perceive me from this. Yeah. Like, let's have a conversation.
And you were pretty active on social media. Like, you're the type of person that like posts. You would post a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
but I also never felt like I could get I never felt like it was fully me. Like, there were like sides of me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like you could look at my Instagram and be like, I know her.
Well, that's what social media is, too.
I mean, yeah.
It's the best parts or like a quirky part or like our sexy part.
Yeah.
Like.
Right. Yeah. Well, I feel like I was a lot more like goofy.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a part of me. But I don't know. I feel like I would feel insecure when guys would ask for my Instagram and go and look on there because it's not like flirty or like cute or anything. He's like, who's this goofy bitch? So. I don't know. That I feel like is nice. And it's also just like, I feel like people thought that they like knew everything that was going on in my life too. So they also didn't ask. So like now people are like, hey,
what's up?
What are you doing? Yeah. Or just listen to the podcast, I guess.
You also said like people would like reach out to you via DM versus like a text when they had your number. That's annoying.
Right.
I find that quite annoying.
Yeah, for sure.
It was just like a lot more impersonal. And I felt like after I deleted it that I would miss it a lot more. So the fact that I deleted it and I don't really miss it, that's where I'm like, okay.
Good for you.
Yeah.
But I also think not having social media, it's like made me be more out there dating wise, because I think I just like always had this like I could post a thirst trap on my story and I could get like quick little hits of attention that way. And so now that I'm not on there, I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to get attention?
Yeah, it's true. Though.
So
You put more emphasis on your dating profiles.
I'm going on dates. Yeah, I'm not on my phone less necessarily. I'm just like scrolling through Hinge.
I'm jealous because, well, first of all, I'm proud because you haven't really been doing dates for a long time.
Not been out there, yeah.
But also jealous because I've never been that type of person that could like go on dates with different people like in a short time span, because I don't know, I get like anxiety just first of all, I get anxiety thinking about going on a date, period. But then like the thought of like multiple people potentially being in my life, because I mean, I'm fucking delusional, and like when I match with someone, I already think like, oh, we're gonna be together forever. Mm-hmm. So like, how can I think about that for 3 people at once?
Yeah.
Well, I think I went on a date with one guy, and I feel like I was like that too, and I think we've talked about that. I went out with one guy and I really, really liked him, and then it just fizzled and didn't work out. But one of the things that I remember him saying was, he's like, yeah, I don't get nervous on first dates, which also made me think that he goes on a lot of first dates, which is fine. But that was something that I was like, okay, I kind of want to get there. Like, I don't want to be so into someone after one day. That's not how it should be. Like, I need to like get this out of my brain, and I just need to like go on multiple to where it's not anxious, doesn't make me anxious every time I do it. And I'm like, it's literally just a boy. It's just a boy.
It's like riding a bicycle.
It's So that's what I did. And honestly, it's kind of working.
Yeah.
It's kind of working.
I think that's what the problem is like we put so much emphasis. Like, I mean, it's always the cliche thing of like, oh, you'll find it when you're not really looking. And I don't even know if it's not necessarily that, but I'm definitely the same way. Like, I get so invested in one person pretty easily. So then, I mean, that's all everyone says is date multiple people, date multiple. I'm like, it's harder than it sounds. Like, it seems so easy. And like, yeah, sure, you could go on dates with a bunch of people. That also takes effort, energy, putting makeup and clothes on when you don't want a rainy day when you're already agreed to go. There's so many factors to that.
I feel like you've taken a little sabbatical on dating. You haven't. You were on a little run of dates.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got a little burnt out. And they say that's especially with a point when you're supposed to like stop, is like if you're just feeling like you're going through the motions. And that's kind of how I was feeling. I am back on Hinge now. But not as aggressively, I guess, as I'm not going through these endless conversations with these people, or like automatically like the Instagram thing. Like if you ask me for Instagram right away, then no, I'm just not even going to talk to you because I know I've all these people that I've plenty of, we just follow each other on Instagram and like randomly like each other's stuff, but we've never met up in person. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, it's.
What about when they ask for your Snapchat?
Absolutely not.
I don't feel like that happens to me anymore.
Really?
I think it's happened like once in the past.
It's such a gay thing. But I haven't had Snapchat in years. Like, I remember there was a period where I was like, there was a day I was like, I need to eliminate one social media platform, and I did it. It was Snapchat like almost 4 years ago, and never looked back.
Yeah, not missing. I did have a guy, we were going to exchange numbers, so I sent him my number on Hinge, and he WhatsApped me instead of Hinge, and I was like, that is a big ass. I even said it to him, I was like, WhatsApp, really? That's sketchy as fuck. Because I'm like, why the fuck would you WhatsApp at me?
Was he Dominican?
Yes.
Of course.
But he lives here. He has a phone, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he did try to say that, like, oh, it's because like I talk to other people internationally or whatever. I'm like, okay, fine. But I'm like, I also have experiences that guys, because it's like it's
giving cheater.
Yes, and like asking for like nude pics. That's like a big thing on there. Like guys will send nude pics on WhatsApp because it's like more secure, I guess, or they can disappear. I don't know. It's like a version of Snapchat.
It is true. You can. I think you can send like a
deleting. I don't know.
Like on Instagram,
like
you
that.
You can
kind of like
you can only do it
see it once. Yeah. I think something WhatsApp has, I think, is similar. So if you're gonna WhatsApp me, that's automatically like, what the fuck? And I called him out, and then he texted me instead, and I was like, this was very strange. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
The dating apps is, I do not miss the dating apps.
I feel like I've just like matched with so many people that maybe there's like a 10% or like a maybe even like a 1% of guys that actually like reach out and set a date. Yeah. So I'm just like matching with multiple and putting no faith in any of them. So I'm just like, whichever one wants to come forward, bring it on. But
I feel like with the dating apps, there should be like some sort of rule or expiration. Like if you're not active for, I think it should be something really short too. Like if you're not active for like 30 days, maybe even less, you get cut, like your account gets deleted. Or like if there's a way that they can track if you're like going on dates somehow, because there's a lot of people on there that are just like wasting people's time.
So there, I mean, and Hinge does ask you after a while if you match with somebody, it's like, have you met this person in person? And then you can say yes, no, or whatever. I don't know if that's really tracking thing. I think they should also track maybe how long if you've been on there too long, because anytime I think most people have the same issue. Anytime you delete and re-download Hinge, the same dudes pop up instantly.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I've never matched with any of you, but every single time. And sometimes they'll still send us like a reply to my picture.
Priority in my algorithm.
I just don't understand. Like, I mean, are these people who pay for it? I mean, maybe, I don't know, but like, I'm just like, how the fuck? Why? It's just, I don't know. Actually, my recent one too is this guy that we exchanged messages, kind of fun, whatever. And I was on vacation, so I wasn't really trying to put any like super effort into it. And then it's just now been a steady stream of messages like, oh, would you want to meet up like on a day you work? No pressure. No, I didn't say anything.
Ew.
How was your flight?
I hate that.
Didn't say anything. He's like, but just let me know when you want to meet up. Just asking. And then again,
literally apply pressure.
Later in the day, I have a car, by the way, so when you do want to meet up, I can come to you. Just saying. I'm like, okay, this gave me talk about
delete.
Ick. I was like,
delete.
This was so bad.
One double text, I think can be cute.
Yeah.
Like persistence can be nice, right?
Yeah. And like for me too, I was like on vacation, so like I wasn't totally on it. So like one of them just to like kind of check in. Okay, fine, I could see that, but then it just kept coming, and I was like, okay.
I think it's just like say it with your chest, and then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that seems like
that
pretty
was
passive.
instant. No, yeah.
You said say it with your chest, and that reminded me of the Ariana Grande song. And I just have to say, I have to put it out there because 2 weeks ago I was saying how the album was very boring, and I retract all those statements. I really love the album. Proceed.
I was talking to my therapist today about it, and because obviously she knows how I've been in the past, and I was like, I'm kind of there's like a part of me that's like a little scared because I'm like, who is she? This is doesn't feel
Botox
normal,
and
maybe that was all I needed. That was all I needed. But there was a funny date story. So I went last weekend, random with this guy. He was just like, you want to go grab a glass of wine tonight? Not a lot of forethought. And I was like, you know what? Typically, that was the start of it, I think, because typically I would have never left my home on a Sunday evening. And I was like, yeah, sure. I went not a romantic connection, but I think that was good for me because then it was like, okay, still like a person that I can have a conversation with. And he started coming up with all of these ideas for this app to do like a fit. He worked with AI or something. And he was like, we could do like a fitness app. And then he was like, I really think we're on to something. Like he was like super into it. I think we should schedule a meeting to like meet and talk more about it.
Wait, I thought this was a date. Now it's a business meeting.
I gained a business partner. And that's why I went back and texted you guys. I'm like, well, now I have a business partner. But then he texted me and he was like, you're beautiful and smart. Exactly what I'm looking for in a business partner. And I was like, let's call HR immediately. Yeah. But it was ironic because I went on a date with someone else on Sunday and just gave a like little out outside and looked, and that guy was right there the whole time.
The guy you went on the date.
My business partner.
Your business partner.
That's like,
but we were supposed to meet up that Thursday, and neither of us said anything.
No
so I think that was a wash.
You broke his heart.
right
Did
in
I?
front of him.
I think we might have been on another date, but I was just like, that was a moment for me that I was like, maybe I'm sticking a little too much in the neighborhood.
Yeah, Greenpoint is a little small.
Yeah. I
you
don't think people realize, like, if you're listening from a town that's not New York, like, every borough, not necessarily borough, but like neighborhood. Yeah, that would be the word. Is like a small town.
Yeah.
So if you're like dating people, which I mean, there could be 100,000 people in this neighborhood plus, but you're still gonna see.
Yeah, I feel like we see a lot of familiar.
You're gonna walk around
all the time. You're like, I know who I've seen you a million
Mm-hmm,
times, but I could not tell. Yeah. So
how did that make you feel? Were you like? Did it make you feel a little cunty?
saucy?
Yeah. Good.
Right?
Yeah.
I like,
Good.
like it. Yeah.
You're lost, baby.
All right. You want to dive into some
Controversial opinion.
controversial opinions? You guys know what I meant. Why don't you start? You have one.
Okay. I already know Brian's opinion for this one, but if you're reading in public, you're looking for attention.
What's my opinion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think if people are reading in general, you're looking.
I think people are pretending to enjoy reading. That's what I think. You know, since we've like brought those up, like the last now 3 weeks, Brie will text me and she gets so mad. The alcohol one last week, she was like, I am not pretending. I love alcohol. I love it. And I'm like, and I had to break it down for her. I was like, you know what, bitch? Get your own fucking podcast and come up with your own. Talk about how you love alcohol and salad.
Yes.
Just kidding. I love you, Brie. Thank you for listening. But yeah. A little bit.
I don't think so. I mean, I will like sometimes I'll go and read, but I also read my Kindle. So like I don't know. Maybe if you actually have a true book, it's a little more like.
I'm saying that as a person that just does not have the attention span to read in public.
But
certain places, it depends where. Like I see, you see people reading on the train, like standing up, and they're just like, and I'm like, that does not sound enjoyable to me at all. And just I don't know. I feel like you'd be reading and be so distracted by everything else. Like, are you really even paying attention? What you're reading? No way. If you can, I guess that's impressive. But I don't.
But be so real. Like, be the realist version of yourself right now. When you decide you want to go read at the park, is there a little part of you, a little fantasy that's like, I hope a man stops me and says, "What are you reading?"
I don't think so because that probably would not be my kind of guy.
Okay.
I mean, that would be kind of cute.
That's the only reason.
I feel like she would be into that.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I would fucking do it.
I have brought books so many places and not read them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's awesome.
It's such a low. Maybe I've read a page. I just can't. I just cannot do it.
I couldn't go like in a coffee. Like if there's anything loud distraction, I cannot. Like so I couldn't go sit in like a coffee shop where people are coming and going. But yeah, if it's like a nice day at the park and I go sit on the bench and it's like not as I don't know. But that's something I'm not doing all the time either. So
I'm really just jealous.
and any moving vehicle, I can't do that either. I can't even read my phone when I'm like in a car.
I get such bad nausea.
I bring a book with me every single time I travel on a plane and
never read it.
Never.
Yeah, I can't read on a plane really.
But I can't like not bring it. There's just something in me that's like, you got to bring it.
It's like your emotional support book.
Yeah. It's my emotional support book.
Because you want attention. You want it.
It is because I want it to.
That's the thing.
I flip it out and I open it and I look around. Who's watching?
But I don't think you even need to be reading it. It could just be like sitting next to you and then like if the cute guy's next to you, just scoot it, on that side of your tray table. Just hope that
that's all books are for.
Yeah.
The book is like how to give the perfect blowjob.
I'm like, I'm on page 300.
I'm almost there. About to perfect it. Oh my god. Do you have any other controversial opinions?
The other one's not my best, but it's being late is a choice.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that one. I definitely am a person who's like on time. Like lateness to an extent, like at the gym, there's always these people who walk in like 5 minutes after class starts, and that's like the cutoff time. But they do it every fucking morning. There's one girl who's like, "Oh, ha ha," like, and she like made a joke about it. I'm like, no, that fucking bothers me so much.
Yeah,
the class starts at 6.
I'm always waiting for you outside when it's time to go out.
But that's not an assigned time. That's when you're like, I'm leaving my house.
Yeah. No, you're like, I'm ready, and I'm like, okay, I'm leaving, and I'm still waiting 5 minutes for you. I'm mad.
That's different if it's
but
like we're gonna meet at 7.
Choosing to continue to get ready.
So to your point,
so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one, actually. I feel like a lot of people, it's like their personality, but I also, I think it is a choice.
Yeah.
I think people want to be late. People want.
Yeah, fashionably late. Or some people, or some people that is like their thing. Like they're always late.
Being early is like embarrassing, or like being on time is like embarrassing to them or something.
Yeah, there's definitely like people that are habitually late, and it's like a habit.
Yeah.
But which I'm sure that some people would like to change that, but you're also still choosing not to.
Right. Because if you're the person who does take a long time, or something might happen, then you should just start getting ready earlier. Get the earlier train. Don't take the last possible second train to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially here, because there are so many things that can happen. One train being delayed or fucked up can make you miss, everything else. So
I used to be that person, so I feel like I have friends that might listen to this right now and be like, "Fish, what?"
Yeah, I feel like I'm like a pretty on-time person for the most part. All right, next. Most of these are just like stupid, but this first one is actually kind of hard-hitting. Controversial opinion. There is a cure for cancer. Do you guys think there is one? Like, hold on, there's a little bit of...
I think there's a lot of... I feel like you could say this about a lot of medical, things, just because the pharmaceutical industry makes so much money off of people. Hospital systems make so much money off. Like all these things.
It's an easy theory to say, like, of course there is a cure for cancer because, if they had it and it was accessible to everyone, then like that whole industry of cancer research would no longer be necessary. And that's a lot of money, right?
Well, there's that, and it could just be that they're figuring out how to sell it and what's the price point and what pharmaceutical company is going to bid the most money to take it over.
But then it makes you think that it would only be accessible to rich people anyway, like people who would be able to pay for it. Like it's not, even if they do find one, it's not like it's going to be something that's like so easy that anyone's going to be able to, afford to do it. And then there's also the idea of like population control. Like, sounds terrible, but like if everyone stops dying of cancer. Your face was like so intense.
But I think that's a good one because I lean both ways. I mean, I like to think that like the government is not out to get us. Like, I don't think we're that special that like, that they're trying to like keep us sick. But I don't know.
I guess it's hard too because cancer is like a global thing, right? It's not just like, if you think about the U.S. specifically, like it all makes more sense in terms of like capitalism, stuff like that. But even if it did come, like if they had another cure in another country, I think we would hear. So I guess like I don't necessarily think that there is a cure for cancer, but I could also see it being like gate kept for like the most elite people.
Plus, aren't there like so many different types of cancers? Like,
right?
Like one wouldn't be like one fits all kind of thing, right? So, I don't know.
That was an intense one.
All right, next. Okay, this one is also kind of hard-hitting. If tanning is acceptable, so should skin bleaching. So, like,
why is it not acceptable to bleach your skin?
Well, I think I don't want to overstep any boundaries, but like, I think within the Black community, there is a stigma between like dark skin and light skin. And there is like, kind of like the standards of beauty usually lean towards white and like lighter skin tones. Within the Black community, like there's a lot of people that think like light skinned people are more beautiful than dark skin. So I'm going to assume that's probably why they bleach their skin. I mean, there's that whole thing with like Michael Jackson, like,
oh, true,
he bleached his skin, obviously.
Well, I think there needs to be limits on tanning because I guess if you think about like Ariana Grande back in the day or the Kardashians who are making themselves a skin tone that is not them and essentially like appropriating a lot of Black culture by doing that. So I think tanning to that point should have some. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and Ariana Grande not only was tanning and she was super tan. She spoke completely different. Like she had an accent that she no longer speaks in.
Yeah, like comparing her like right now to what she was, you know,
completely different person.
Yeah,
skin tone and
could not tell. Yeah,
dialect.
Right.
It's weird.
Whoa.
So I agree. I think like tanning, like there's got to be some sort of limit. Like
also just health wise. I mean, if you're, you know, tanning beds, terrible. Obviously.
Yeah.
I say this as I'm practically burnt. So who am I to say anything? But
that was natural.
Yeah.
So you got that organic glow.
I did put sunscreen on. I did try, mostly.
Okay, next. Patriotism is stupid because you don't choose where you're born. When you put it like that, like it is pretty stupid. Like people being so proud of their country.
I don't know about that. So even when like in Honduras, it was really cool. So we're there during Semana Santa, which is like Easter week, and it's a huge thing there. And so they had a lot of celebrations of like, you know, their drumming and dancing. And you could just see how excited, and then people were coming to dance. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I think patriotism, like America patriotism, is a little different.
Well, I was talking about this the other day with a girl who's also from Texas, and just about how wild the patriotism in Texas gets. Like, not only did we go to school in the morning and say the American Pledge of Allegiance, we also pledged allegiance to the Texas flag every morning and had our own.
Damn.
And had to do that every day. And that just like wasn't
Do you remember it?
an abnormal thing. Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the Texas flag. That's it. No, there's more. There's more. Something. Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
It wasn't just like add Texas to it. It was completely different.
No, we had our own Pledge of Allegiance.
Wow.
And it's one of the only states that I know of that we have a Texas history class that we have to take in high school.
Whoa.
Before we can graduate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, I think this is what people think of when they think of like America patriotism. They would be like Texas. Like this
Which
is
makes sense.
I think they stopped like enforcing the Pledge of Allegiance in schools in a lot of places.
Well, I think it was controversial because it
Texas still does it.
says under God too. So that like
true.
in a public school, like technically it's like a controversial.
I bet Texas still does it, and I bet they still pray.
I'm sure they do.
Before,
I find it kind of
school.
weird that like it was kind of forced, and I remember like if you didn't, like you would get in trouble.
Felt very culty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like because if you would sit or not put your hand over your heart, like it's.
Take your hat off.
Yeah, like you're the worst person in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not a patriot.
I think it's fine to be proud of where you come from, of course, but I think patriotism gets a little.
You get to have like celebrations and traditions. Like that's all fun.
I think to your point though about like American patriotism, it's like, what are you super proud of? Because this country was kind of built on a lot of bad things,
Right.
so.
Yeah, the things we celebrate are strange.
And the people that are patriotic, like, you know, what do they look like and what do they sound like?
Right.
I think they're more like I think they're more proud of their skin tone than the country that they're from.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
So problematic.
Wow.
Noah's over here. You have an opinion? Oh,
Always.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. The last one that I have is high school reunions are kind of dumb.
I mean, I think now, especially because we have all this social media and everything, you can keep up with, if you want to keep up with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think we even had one. Like, no one contacted. I mean, it was also during COVID, I guess.
That damn class president didn't follow through on their job.
When I saw this, I was kind of triggered because I'm sure I've mentioned it multiple times, but I was class. I think I mentioned it last week. I was class president, and I guess because of that, like I'm responsible for putting together the reunion. But yeah, we graduated the same year, right? 2011.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was during COVID, so like obviously no one was going to a reunion. But now that like shit is back to normal, I'm getting harassed on Facebook. Like, when is a reunion? When is a reunion? People are like sending direct messages to me, and I'm like, I'm not interested. Like. I'm just not interested. Like,
No.
I don't. First of all, I went to high school in Florida. I'm not going there. So, like, I'm not going to plan something that
Do you guys want to come to New York?
Right.
Yeah,
You guys want
right.
to come to Minnows? We'll do it.
We'll go to
Yeah. We'll do a typical Friday.
Yeah.
Take your-
I'll gladly put that together. But Yeah, I kind of just like the people that were like really vocal about wanting it. I was like, if you want it so bad,
You do it.
you take the reins. You can even call yourself president if you want. I don't care.
I also feel like now it's like you might as well wait to 20 years. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
how I feel.
It's past now.
Yeah.
It's
But I think to your point, like all high school reunions are really about is like seeing where everybody else is and what
Right.
they're doing, and like we're already seeing that.
Yeah, I can see like
Yeah,
what
we
you've
get
been
it.
up to.
Yeah, like I could see like our parents' ages, like because you didn't catch up, so maybe this was your first time seeing somebody in 10 years, and it's like, oh, who's married, who's kid, like you're catching up on things. But now it's like every day I'm seeing a new baby post or a new married. Like I don't need to see you in person.
And the people that I've known that have gone to their high school reunions, they say that it ends up being like cliquey. You just go to the people that like you want to see, that you probably already keep in touch with,
Right.
and then before you know it, it's over and you didn't even really have a reunion.
Or I've heard of people where like 10 people go, and then
Yeah.
it's just like the most awkward thing because it's like 10 people from the most random groups, like friend groups, and then it's
Yeah.
also like, why are we?
Yeah, I didn't go to mine.
I'm not interested.
Yeah. So, what was the controversial opinion? High school reunions are dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
They're
dumb.
dumb.
Yeah. Okay, I do have a controversial opinion that I saw on the internet that we can talk about that kind of goes along with patriotism. It's that men in uniform are not trustworthy. And that's like military, cops. You could even go as far as to say firefighters.
I think that's true. I also think because, especially I guess like cops or like they work weird hours, like they have access to all sorts of things. I don't know, and I think there's just like the toxic masculinity idea of people who want to be in the military or be a cop or like things
Go
like
in
that.
for like power.
Yeah, so 100%, I definitely agree.
I think if we're like generalizing, I would have to agree. Like, particularly men. Like, if we're talking about the military specifically, I would argue that a good majority choose the military because they have nothing else going for them. That may sound really harsh, but like, I mean, I know people who joined the military because college didn't work out. They really had like no direction. I don't think most people go into the military because they're patriots, that they want to fight for their country. They do it because there's so many benefits. And to an extent, I don't blame them for that, like work the system. But, you do have to, in a way, question and particularly men, like, what are you doing
I do
this
feel
for?
like a lot of them have gone in because where I'm from is an Air Force base town. I'm wearing an Air Force sweater from my ex. Thank you so much. But I feel like sometimes it's like passed down, like their dad was in the military, their grandpa was in the military, there's things like that. So there is like a level of patriotism there. But I do think that it can be really good for people that don't have a lot of direction. And I know a lot of people that it was really good for. I think in terms of relationships, specifically with men in the military, you got to think like these are sometimes, or a lot of times, 18-year-old kids who are you're given a career and a life path. So that's like not something that you have to think about going in. So you're 18. I have a career. I know what I'm at least doing for the next 6 years of my life. There's no getting out. And then it's kind of like, okay, what's next? I guess I'll get married. I guess I'll get a wife. I can't tell you how many military men I know that just got married so quick and then got divorced because it's like you gave them careers, you gave them this whole thing, and they're like, okay, well, what's next?
Because also there's so many benefits when you get married. Like, I don't know.
You get paid more.
Like, this may not be true, but I feel like you get like a house, or maybe you don't have to be married.
It depends, like if you live on the base versus
Right.
like so there's like lots of different.
There's just so many
levels
benefits to
that.
it.
But I think also to that point is like some people then will get married at 18 or like super young because your spouse can come live with you like if you live on a base. So like I think it also pushes people into like maybe marriage or things like that
It's
that
just
you
like,
wouldn't
it's
normally.
a whole different world. It's crazy.
And what you were saying about like cops specifically, like I do think there is a power dynamic. Like, what's the word that you used? Like when somebody wants power. Like,
I mean, like toxic masculinity.
yeah,
is
well,
part of
yeah,
that, but like
they want to have the
prestige
gun
and
they want authority,
Right.
you know, like I do question intention when it comes to men choosing those as careers.
for sure.
I would have a very hard time dating a cop.
Yeah.
I think firefighter is probably a different category because I do feel like that. I mean, there still is like there's
like a
macho-ness
level,
to it, but at the same time, it's like most of the time you're going to help.
It's like a rescue.
Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
like cops, you know, obviously are
Well,
problematic in their own right. So
Yeah, and not to say that all cops are terrible before somebody comes for us, but it's also like some of them.
I don't think anyone's coming in for us for that.
Some of them are terrible just because they probably deal with so much shit day in and day out of just like they probably do deal with a lot of not so great people.
Yeah.
So they probably have this like skewed vision of society. Even when a good person comes up, they're skeptical and they're like, no,
Yeah.
you're the worst. And they just treat everybody like they're the worst and they have power in that. And
Yeah.
that's the not so good thing. But yeah, I just like, I don't see my ideal man, the one that's voguing in the bar, going into the police force.
No.
You know what I mean?
I think this is like again, generalizing a straight person's issue because I don't really know any I mean, I know there are gay people in the military and there's got to be gay cops, but like, I don't really know any of
But
them.
it was in our lifetime that gay people weren't allowed to be in the military.
Yeah.
So like,
or at least they're
that's
not able
crazy.
to say that they were
Don't
gay.
ask,
Wow.
don't
Not able
tell.
to
Military,
openly be in the military.
Isn't that wild?
That's
like we live
wild.
in like history. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Even marriage wasn't.
yeah, like
I mean,
gay
yeah,
marriage. Like I
it
remember in 2015 when it was like federally,
Right.
you know, legal. Like
All
that's wild.
fairly recent, yeah.
Do you ever think about that? Like how like, you know, we lived through like the first black president. Like
That's going to be in
Pretty
history
cool.
books. COVID's going to be in history
Yeah.
books. Like
9/11.
9/11. Whoa.
This
the
is why.
submarine.
This is why. Harambe.
Yeah, my God.
mean-
Yeah,
But this is why millennials. This is why we've
Scandal.
we've literally-
totally. That's definitely gonna be studied in history.
we've seen it all.
Yeah.
Like we are well-rounded,
The Eras
traumatized
tour?
people. Yeah. Taylor being a billionaire.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just
wow.
Yeah,
We're really doing it.
I love that. And Dumb and Broke podcast.
I mean,
Study it in your history book in 2050.
Hey, if that's what they taught, you could consider me a patriot.
Well, I love the way that we ended that. We turned a negative into a positive. Look at us. All right. Well, thank you for the last minute availability.
of course.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for not having anything to do on a Tuesday
Yeah, I
night.
know, right?
Honestly, I just wanted an excuse for all of us to get together.
I
It's
know,
been too
right?
long.
Right,
So,
in a minute.
yeah. Well, you know, as we always say,
Like, comment, subscribe.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.